Hello and welcome back to the Not Your Neurotypical podcast, and this is the first time that I'm recording it as a video like this, and I'm very excited. I'm having so many tech mares, but so is life. I'm a very good fitness coach, I guess you could say business coach. When it comes to tech, try not to have a mentee B, try not to let the ADHD rage take over, but we are here, and if you are watching on the YouTube, obviously please just comment and say that you really enjoy it, just to make me happy, and I will do more videos like this where you can see my gorgeous face alongside hearing my gorgeous voice. Now in today's episode I wanted to do a bit more of a fun one because it's Friday, we want a bit of fun, about ways that I actually manage my ADHD without realising. One, to give you guys some value because you might take a lot from these tips, but also some of you might have some light bulbs and go, oh, I do that. And if you've been thinking about it and that you might have ADHD, who knows? Obviously this is not for me to diagnose you, and this is not me saying if you do these things you have ADHD, but it's just to make you realise that actually you might be, because when it comes to women with ADHD especially, we're very good at masking. We're very good at doing things to manage it without realising, and that's what I've done for a long time. So what I want to share is 5 ways that I actually manage my ADHD brain in the past without realizing. Okay, so let's dive into it. And all I ask before I start is if you are on Spotify, Apple, just making sure that you hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you do leave me a review or share it on your stories or anything like that, it would help me out. So if you are here on YouTube, again, please hit subscribe and just comment, let me know you're here, let me know what's resonated. Helps me out and it allows me to help you guys out too. Okay, let's dive in, because we're not here for small talk. We don't like small talk, do we? Isn't there a spicy lot? So the first way I manage my ADHD and my time management and organisation was to-do lists. Now I thought I just love a to-do list. I love a to-do list, right? If you scroll way back in the podcast and listen, probably on my Facebook posts and stuff, you'll hear me talking about how much I love a to-do list. I thought I was just a bit weird, a bit obsessed. And my love for to-do lists actually came about in lockdown. So when I was in lockdown and I was starting to build my online business, I really wanted to make it look like I was successful when I had no clients. So I was like, right, let's see what competitors are doing. And there was a coach who I really looked up to, who I knew was thriving, who always started her day with a daily to-do list. So me mimicking was like, right, I'm going to do a daily to-do list. I ordered it for Amazon, started to write my daily to-do list, and I was eking that bastard out with shit like, make a ham sandwich, like genuinely that level of trying to make myself look busy. But obviously I did get busier. I got more successful as time went on, and that to-do list helped me out so much. I had a Google Calendar, and I find Google Calendar fantastic to book things in, but how I get everything done every day is to write it down and tick it off. I get a dopamine hit from ticking it off. It's so satisfying, and it just allows me to not forget things. And my to-do list, you can see on the video, it is just scribbles and stuff. But it works for me. It works for my brain, and it stops me forgetting things. It means that I'm very productive. I get things done. It gives me urgency. So a daily to-do list was something that I thought I just loved, but it was actually a way of me managing my time management and organisation with an ADHD brain. The next thing is, with the forgetfulness side of it, is alarms, reminders, giving myself loads of reasons to forget things. So I thought I was a bit forgetful, bit clumsy, bit ditzy, blonde, I forget things. So things that I would do is set myself alarms, and you can still see that I do this now if I get my phone up, if it wants to load. You can see there's random alarms of what have I got here? Oh God, some of these are old. Make my Ninja Creamy recipe, put my headphones and laptops in charge for my holiday. I need to get rid of some of these. I really, really do. But I do things like that to not forget things. I often would send myself emails, so to remind myself to cancel this client's payment, to get back in touch with this person, to ring my car insurance. I still do that now. And again, I thought it was just a way of me staying organised, but actually it's a way of me managing that forgetfulness with ADHD, because it's so easy to forget these tiny little details, these little dates. So post-it notes, sending myself texts and emails, alarms, reminders, that is what helped me to get the things done that otherwise I would forget to do. The third thing is ready prepped food. Now, I, in my younger days, used to gaslight myself that I enjoyed cooking and baking. I enjoyed the food at the end of it, especially baking, and especially the raw cookie dough, which is so bad for you, but I could just eat a whole bowl of that. Anyone else? But it was very wholesome. I look back now and I have a lot of happy memories of baking with my nana and my parents and stuff. But I found it so stressful, the following instructions and the many steps and the so overstimulating. I remember in food tech at school, I think that's a GCSE. Just found it so much, and I didn't understand why. I just thought, am I lazy when it comes to cooking? I don't know. So then when it got to me going to university and actually having to cook for myself, that is when shit hit the fan with my nutrition big time. When I lived at home, you know, we eat at home. I say like I still live at home, don't grown woman now, but when I lived at home, my parents generally were very good at, like, you know, cooking healthy, nutritious food. So we'd have a lot of, you know, chopped, prepped stir fries and curries and stuff. I went to uni and that just stopped. I remember my mum telling me, I'll give you my recipe for this. Never did it. It was like microwave rice. And then that's when my issues with food started, of just like snacking, takeaways. I worked at KFC at the time, so I relied a lot on their food. So got very overweight, got very unhealthy. And when my PT first introduced me to whey protein, and I was like, oh, actually, you can eat healthy food and good for you food that's like pre-made. And I started to find all these other ideas of like rice cakes with like pre-cooked chicken and oats, like, you know, like protein oats, so easy. Greek yogurt, and I was like, oh, it doesn't actually have to be like big fancy recipes. Okay, light bulb. So then I started to utilize these foods, and I would just tell everyone, like, I hate cooking, this is how I do nutrition. But now what I realized is that the cooking and the prepping and the ingredients, like, it's just too much for an ADHD brain. The executive dysfunction does not executive function. Do you know what I'm saying? It just feels overwhelming, and when things feel overwhelming, we don't do it. And that's why with ADHD, people are more likely to just, you know, snack or eat lots of convenience foods. So finding these convenience foods that were healthy and that my brain could put together and be fine with has been a game changer. And now I understand the ADHD. I understand actually why that works so well for me. And that's why I've actually created a full guide of meals and food ideas that work for ADHD brains. So what I shall do is leave it in the show notes / YouTube description if you want access to that, because it is a game changer. Okay, the fourth thing, temptation bundling. So temptation bundling is basically the art of pairing something that gives you joy, that makes you happy, with something that you don't want to do. So I would find that I would do things like, oh, if I want to do this bit of homework or research or what should I do at uni? Study? Is that what you call it? Study? What's the thing called where you're prepping for an exam? What is that word called? Revision, that's the one. That I just didn't enjoy. If it's a subject that I enjoy, don't need anything to get me through that shit. If it was like, you know, a subject that I loved, but the things like maths and science, I needed something to get me through. And that would be when I would have a Pepsi Max. You know, as I got older, that would be when I would snack. That's when I'd listen to some music, have like a nice coffee. We love a good coffee. I'm obsessed with these mugs, by the way. The ones from Starbucks. Got a little collection going up, and said got a collection, I've got 4. But I will get more. Tangents. Collections, not a bit of tism there at all, right? I've gone off on a tangent. Standard, promised myself I wouldn't, but here we are. Here we fucking are. Yes, temptation bundling. So like if I needed to clean my room, I'd stick on a podcast, stick on music. When I'm in the gym, I have really upbeat music to get me through like long workouts and stuff. And again, I didn't realise that this is motivational ways to support an ADHD brain. Because when it comes to ADHD brains, there are 5 key levers of motivation. And one of them, if you don't enjoy something, there's not urgency to do it. There's not like a big reason why. So like if we talk about those factors, right? Urgency is like, you've got a deadline that will motivate you to do stuff, which is why a lot of ADHDers will do things like, you know, do the project, the big work project or the essay the night before. Importance is like, if you don't pick your kid up from school, that your child is going to be on their own and you're going to get arrested. You know, that's important. Something that you're interested in, something you really enjoy, like you will just get it done. Competition. So if you are feeling like competitive, so like, you know, if there's like a bit of competition to do it, that can make you do it. And then just, I think enjoyment is that the other one. So if you enjoy something and that gives you a bit of dopamine, that's going to make you more likely and wanting to do the behaviour. So if you compare things that you don't really enjoy or you find really hard with something that just gives you a bit of dopamine, whether it's a music, a podcast, you can do it as like a reward. So once you have done the task, then you can have the Pepsi Max or whatever. That works really well for getting shit done. The 5th and final thing, I have whizzed through these, I'm very impressed with myself, is sensory grounding for focus. So I used to make this joke that the only way that I can focus and not get distracted when I'm doing things like client calls and stuff is to hold a pen. Hold this pen. And I used to make this joke about my magic pen. And I didn't realise why I love my magic pen so much, but here we are. Here's my magic pen. I love it. And what I then learned to realise was that actually the magic wasn't in the pen. What this pen basically allowed me to do was to not allow my brain to focus by anchoring in on something. By squeezing and holding this pen, my attention wasn't being drawn in other directions. So using this pen helped me to focus, and I will still use things like pens. I now use like fidget toys because I'm aware of them, I understand them, so that my brain just doesn't go off in all these different directions and spirals when I need to focus, when I've got client calls, when I'm doing very important tasks. So those are 5 ways that I manage my ADHD without realising. I mean, I've got 101 more, but those are just the 5 that I can think of off the top of my head. I would love to hear if you are a late diagnosed ADHD woman and you have managed your ADHD in fun and funky ways throughout your life without realising. Please let me know in the comments. Please let me know on social media. And if there is anything you guys want me to cover on this podcast, please let me know. Please, please, please let me know, because I want to provide. But for today, over and out, and I'll see you on the next episode.